Greetings, War Thunderers. This is Longshot with you again, and welcome to my 5,000 subscribers special, which is an Ask Me Anything video. And lots of people have asked me things, so I've got a bit to talk about in this one. But before I get into it, I really want to take a moment just to thank everyone who's watched my videos and who's subscribed and has provided great comments on feedback on the videos, because without your encouragement I wouldn't be doing this, and I probably wouldn't even be playing War Thunder. So yeah, thank you very much. This has been a really enjoyable experience for me, and hopefully the same for you. So let's get into it. I've organised my answers into three categories. Firstly, questions leading up to and dealing with War Thunder itself. Then questions about making of videos, and lastly, personal questions. Okay, so to start with, we have Spartan4060 who asks, how did you get interested in War Thunder, and have you always been interested in these types of games? Well, that's not one question, that's two, but I'll do my best. Yes, I have always been interested in these types of games from when I was very young, and played a game called Red Baron, which was not the famous one that came out in the 1990s, but back in the 1980s. It was an arcade game, just vector graphics, and geez, that was a lot of fun. One of the first 3D games I ever played. I did play Red Baron, another one called Knights of the Sky, Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. I spent a lot of time on those games in the 90s. Didn't do much throughout the 2000s, as I was caught up with a Bungie game called Myth. Very heavily involved with that. And then didn't do any gaming for quite a while. Got a new job where I was working from home, got into a dogfighter called Moonbreakers, and then when the developers for that went bust, I started looking around on the internet for other games, and I found War Thunder, and that's where I've been ever since. So that answers Molibdan42's question, what brought you to War Thunder and when did I first notice it? Well, I noticed it in mid to late 2012. And Ray Jost asks, how long have you played War Thunder? Since late 2012, patch 1.25 was when I started. Joseph Shalom asks, which BR changes would you make if you could? Now, I could come up with a long list based on current playing performance, but it would be irrelevant after the next patch changes everything, so I'd rather answer this in a different way. What I would do is, well, planes with less than level 3 upgrades I would say would be 2 BR steps lower. So if the upgraded plane is 6.0, that plane would become 5.3 when it's completely stock. With less than level 4 upgrades, so it's got a couple of level 3s, then I would say take 1 BR step off it. And if it's got at least 1 level 4 upgrade, then it's at the full battle rating. So that means a stock plane is averaged down, because it's not as good as the fully spaded plane. And with that done, I would remove the averaging of BR lineups. That's what I would do if I could. Martin Ropke, and I don't know if I pronounced it all right or not, but anyway, best I can do. I fly mostly arcade and actively try to win the match by doing the objective. Not many on the team does that in a match. Could you do some matches showing how to do the objectives on different maps? Yes, I could, and I think I probably should, and I'll do that as part of the beginner's guide when I get back to it. For various reasons, I don't play the objective myself on ground strike, or even, yeah, I do on domination. I don't often land on airstrips though. And I'll go into that later on when I do those videos. I could talk about that for a long time here, and I don't have a long time. Robin Tremblay asks, what to do when you got shot down and you respawn with enemy planes on top of you? Retry, ignore, or abort? Okay, retry, I imagine you mean climb back up and take those planes on and fight for altitude supremacy. And I would do that if it's an air domination game, and if it's not obviously a complete waste of time because my team is getting stopped. If it's ground strike or domination, I don't see that there's a point in retrying. If I was shot down and I respawned and didn't have altitude supremacy, I would just be as effective as I could at lower altitude. Okay, ignore, that means, yeah, sticking to lower altitude in my book. Abort means bailing out of the game. I don't do that. Gunther Gustner says, please, can you do some more realistic tutorials, or in general more realistic battles? Well, yes, and for that I am waiting for the new mode that Gaijin have been working on for a while, called Enduring Confrontation, or is it Enduring Conflict, one of those, which basically has respawns. It's an event that's spread out over 2 hours or more, the battle goes for, with different objectives that come up throughout. That to me looks fascinating, and that's something that will really get me into realistic, far more so than the random battles or the occasional events that they have now. Okay, Polyventress asks, what kind of change in War Thunder would make you stop playing it? Okay, well, if the server quality went down, so hit reg went out the window and there was rubber banding everywhere, the game would become unplayable. If they changed the gameplay so that all game durations were under 5 minutes, yep, forget that. Or if the community started to really leave the game and it was hard to get a decent match, that would also make me stop. Make me stop. Prez Pendejo says, tell us about your background and knowledge in air combat maneuvers and tactics. Where did you come by your knowledge? Where would you suggest someone go aside from YouTube to learn more about how to handle and fight their planes? Well, my own knowledge, I had a bit from playing those earlier flight games, but nowhere near as much as I've gained through playing War Thunder. And the dogfighter I played, which was Moonbreakers, was a space game, so really that helped with twitch reflexes, I guess, and a bit of aiming, but not much else. So my knowledge of War Thunder has come through realizing that my habits and tactics as a newbie just were not working. I was dying a lot and not getting kills, the usual. I went looking on YouTube for answers, I asked questions on the forums, and as I was told each new thing or saw someone demonstrate in YouTube, I tried to practice it. If I was in a game and I saw someone absolutely dominant, either on our team or the enemies, then I would load up the replay and look at what they did and try to understand it. And then each new thing I saw, I would just try and practice it until I mastered it, and then try and learn something else new. And the other thing I did was decided that I just didn't want to die, and I wanted to stay alive while being as involved as I could. But I wanted to stop treating planes as if they're disposable, and that made a huge impact. Now, new players today have it handed to them on a plate. There's all my videos, there's others by TX1for1, which spell out everything they need to do to get out of newbie status, but I had to figure it all out from scratch on my own. That's basically the answer to that. The other thing I would suggest is go to the forums if you have questions and I haven't answered them or others. There's a lot of highly skilled players who hang out on the forums and are very happy to help when people ask questions. Breakfast asks, can you share with us a story or two of your personal favourite moments while playing the game? Whether a particularly memorable kill or dogfight or something that's always stuck out in your mind. Doesn't matter if it's in one of your videos already or from a time when you were flying on your own. Well, the things that actually stick in my mind the most were from the early days in patch 1.25 and 1.27. They were games there that regularly came down to attrition, to team wipeouts, all right to the end of the timer. Including in domination games, as the ticket bleed was much slower and killing ground units didn't remove tickets. You could have just one ticket left on the bar, but if the airfields held were equal, the game would not end. I wish it was like that now. I remember one particularly where there was a Beaufighter on one team left against a 109 on the other. The game timer was about to run down. The bases held were even. It was on Peleliu, and there were at least a dozen of us spectating and chatting away and cheering them on. The 109's team was behind on tickets, but he couldn't cap or the bow would have got him. So he went for the kill, tried to shoot the bow down, but the Beaufighter managed to successfully dodge him time and time again, and then the game timer ran out, and that gave his team the victory. It was very tense. Extreme Gaming 87 asks, what is your favourite plane? Zedronix asks, does Longshot have a favourite plane over all others? Well, I hate this question, I really do. I rarely fly the same planes a lot. I'm always moving on to the next plane as, hey, I've got videos to make. Whenever I find one I really like, I think to myself, okay, I'm going to get in and really master this plane, right after I finish the next vid on something else, or the vid after that on something else. So I never get back to flying the plane that I liked. Planes that I've really enjoyed include, in no particular order, A6M2s, early BF109s, any reserve plane. You're nuts if you don't like flying reserve planes. Buffaloes, any Ki-43, the Spitfire 5C, the Heinkel 112A0, as you know from my last video, and I know I will love the Focke-Wulf 190 D9 when I've spaded it up, though that might be a long time before that happens. Glenn Bentley asks, what do you think about the Heinkel 111B1? Does it have a different flight model to the other 112s? And for that matter, do you find the specialty planes in general worth the money? The B1, I believe, has the same flight model as the B0. It might have a slightly more powerful engine. I don't know because I don't own the plane. Specialty planes in general, the premium planes, if it's exactly the same as one of the free ones, I don't think it's worth it. You'll generally find buying a Talisman is cheaper than buying the premium version of the plane. And the Talisman gives you the boosted earnings from owning that plane and the boosted research. So yeah, in terms of value for money, I do that. But I like to buy premium planes when they're unique, when you can't get a free version of the plane. So things like the Boomerangs, the Duotone 520, I own a fair few British ones actually. I just went out and bought the Canon Chika because it's different and looks like a lot of fun. Those kinds of things, yes. Yeah, I think they're good value for money because they expand the gameplay and give you more options of different things to fly. Rickenbacker asks, I'm new to the game, but an avid aviation aficionado. Nice alliteration. My father formerly flew F-105s and F-4s. Curious to your opinion to which nation and plane is best to begin with for quickest results. Well, you're looking to energy fight. So the USA, going by what you've said there, that's obviously the first thing I think you look at. It has excellent early energy fighters. The Buffaloes, particularly the F2A1, the F2A1 is vastly under-tiered, and it's simply brilliant now. The Hawks aren't bad, and there's a whole bunch of really good planes around the 3.0 battle rating. You've got the Corsairs, the Hellcat, the P-47s, the Cannon Mustang. You'll have a lot of fun flying the USA. It does get a bit tougher further on, but yeah, you'll get good early results and you'll enjoy it. Russia has good boom and zoomers from the outset with Lags and Yaks. The Yaks are capable of more general energy fighting maneuvers as well. Germany specialises in this type of plane, but not for a while. Early on you've got the MC202. That's wonderful to fly, but suffers from poor guns. The same with the Bf-109E1. It's really from the E3 onwards that you'll start getting value for money with your the ability to shoot down planes. Japan has the same poor gun issues early on as the MC202, although Japan's guns have recently improved. But the Ko-43, 61s, the 44, and the twin-engine 45s are all excellent energy fighters. Some of them can dogfight really well as well, and they're a lot of fun. The Briton is the weakest in this category until you hit the Spitfire Mark 9 well down the track. So Britain's the only one I really wouldn't suggest starting with for learning energy fighting techniques. Captain Wolfie asks, what inspired you to make these kind of vids? Well, after teaching myself not to be a completely useless scrub, I suddenly noticed so many hordes of hapless newbies, and I wanted to help them. My wife says I'm a frustrated school teacher. That's what I should have been in my career, which I wasn't. I have an instinct to try and train people and help them where I can. And also, when I made a few early tutorial videos, I thought they were pretty rubbish, but I got surprisingly good reception, and that encouraged me to want to continue. If no one had shown interest, if everyone had said meh and gone on, then I wouldn't have made any more vids. Murray G asks, do you have any tips for someone wanting to do War Thunder videos? Well, firstly, don't expect to make any income from it. Even if you get a big viewership, the AdSense revenue is a pittance. Only the early YouTubers were able to make a decent income from it, so for the rest of us it's out of the question. So you've got to make these videos because you love doing it. And then you've got to think about what you can show that other people aren't showing. Nobody will watch you if you're just copying what others have already done, and probably done better. So you've got to try and bring your own unique ideas and approach to the table. And high quality vids are a lot of work, so be sure you have the time to devote to making them. Multi-Toolish asks, what programs do you use to make your videos? How long do you spend on making each one? And Spank Me Very Much says, I've noticed your video quality has improved over time. Maybe you can describe the system you use for recording War Thunder and video editing. Well, okay, the video quality has improved over time. Firstly, because I got my current PC around June, July last year. The one before that was an absolutely ancient toaster, and I can only play in ultra low. So that's a big improvement there. Okay, the software I use, MSI Afterburner, which is totally free for recording the video as I play. And then I use VideoPad, which has a free version and also a paid version. I own the paid version with more features. Very, very easy to use. It's not one of the mainline things, but it works extremely well. As you can see, you can create a storyboard of all the different snippets of video you want to use, edit them together with transitions and such, overlay images, all those nice features. And I use Audacity for recording audio and mixing in music. Okay, that's basically it. I also use one last bit of software, which is Media Coder. and that converts the video output by VideoPad into a format that YouTube likes and doesn't blur. It's only recently that I've found the secret of doing that. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. How long do I spend making each video? Easy answer to that is too long. For a typical tutorial, I'll have played the game. If I count that as part of making the video, then that's probably about 3-4 hours all up. And then I've got to go through every game that I've recorded, which is a lot, and pull out snippets or even whole games, decide what I want to use and what I don't. Edit that into something that makes sense, do the test flights. Then I've got to work out what I'm going to say, and if I just do what I'm doing now and just talk off the top of my head, then nearly always I'll just miss crucial information or think of it halfway through, go back having to redo it, and it won't flow. I don't have that kind of skill, so I actually write down and script out each and everything I'm going to say during the video, which I can then upload as closed caption on the video later. All up, I would say each video cost me about 8 hours of work. Some of them significantly more, a couple are shorter, but rarely can I get away with doing it in less time. Okay, moving along, feeds into the next one. Kevin Tetchapichetvanich says, how do you handle your time between work, personal life, and playing War Thunder? Okay, don't ask my wife on that one. I generally tend to work on videos when my real life work, which is trading the currency markets, is quiet, and sometimes I work on videos when the currency markets aren't quiet, and as a result I miss trades and get less income, which is not good for me or my family. These videos tend to be too addictive. My work-life balance isn't great. Personal life is fine, because I have a daughter who just pulls me away from the computer on a regular basis, which is good. Wouter van Huisden, I think, says, at what person do you think you will consider YouTube as a full-time job? Well, the only time I can consider as a full-time job is when it pays me a full-time wage and I can actually keep food on the table and a roof over the head of my family. I'm a million miles from doing that, and I've got to make sure that I don't put full-time effort into something which pays very, very little. The realities of life are there. So yeah, I don't know where that point will be or whether it will ever come. Brandon Harding asks, will you be doing a giveaway or a competition at any time in the foreseeable future that will reward winners with free Golden Eagles or bundles? I'd like to, but no, I'm not in the financial position to even think of doing something like that, I'm sorry. Cole Chapelo says, would you ever consider doing something special with your fans on a live stream, such as a custom battle? Bombers versus biplanes, biplanes versus jets, etc. Well, at the moment I'm not set up for doing live streams. I've had a quick look into it. Yeah, so I'd have to get set up to do that first, and then there's a question of actually synchronizing with people, which with the hours that I keep and playing at sporadic times when the financial markets calm down, it's not easy. I have my own squadron, DMH, that I fly with, and I only get to fly with them maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So if I struggle so much to fly with the guys I'm friends with online and have been for a long time, then yeah, maybe that'll all change if I get to the point where YouTube is a full-time job. Alright, Trenchgun says, what do you think of the AD2? Well, I haven't flown it, I don't own it. Looking at it, it's seriously overtiered at 6.0, and it's an attacker, and the game is very poorly designed for what attackers can do. So as it is, I have no interest in unlocking it, let alone flying it at the moment. Blue Pienka, will you make any videos on other games? Well, I'm a one game at a time kind of person. So at the moment, no. I made one video on Moonbreakers a couple of months back, but that was just because I felt like revisiting it again. The only time I'll make videos on other games is if I get tired of War Thunder and move on. That is not going to happen just yet. UbGN says, what changes did you make to War Thunder? None. I'm not a developer. Luca Coble says, where did you get the music for the videos? Mostly from YouTube itself, some from my MP3 collection. Duda145, I assume you enjoy good music. Correct. What are your top 5 favourite albums? If you would rather list your top 5 artists, please do so. Okay, I'll go with albums. Albums are a bit of an old-fashioned concept. The decline of the CD pretty much spelled the end of their relevance. So I've got to go back a bit. Right, in no particular order. Stevie Wonder's Talking Book, the Alan Parsons Project Eye in the Sky, Grover Washington's Wine Light, Porcupine Tree, In Absentia, and I need an Australian band, Icehouse Man of Colours, that'll do. Leaf MT asks, it's always a pleasant surprise hearing artists that I'm a big fan of pop up in one of your videos, and I was wondering, do you play guitar yourself? Yes, and I play saxophone, both very badly. I play piano quite somewhat less badly, and I'm not going to put any of that online. Orlando OG asks, do you live in Australia? Yes. Alucard WIT asks, please create a Twitter account and a Facebook page so we can follow your updates easily. Remember, I'm an old guy, I don't get into this newfangulated social media stuff. I might look at Twitter at some point, or create a blog, which may be helpful. Facebook, no, I'm not going near it. Jugquish Cad asks, favourite War Thunder YouTuber aside from yourself? Oh, you really want to make me name someone? Okay, Arcade. If I name someone, then I'll annoy other people. They're all good. At the moment, I'll go with Flip because his videos are just spectacular. RB, I'd have to go with Mags, although there are others who push for that. And I do watch Grimmel's SB videos as well. Wish he'd post some more. Hamster RUS, post a face pic in a video, lol. I'd already answered this in the comments. Nobody wants to see my ugly mug on the interwebs. Pally Woods asks, picture of pets. And here you go. The Pixcoff. And this guy's a cheeky bastard who has a strange definition of one question. Okay, so in quick succession, I'm going to answer his questions. You're going to blink and you'll miss this. So here we go. Live and let live. Straight, white, crumpets, have never eaten them. Not really, none, none. See live and let live from earlier. No, yes, yes. Near Sydney, right now 16 degrees Celsius on a rainy day. In summer, regularly it's up to 45 degrees or more. I love it. No, New Zealand, Canada and Europe in general. Yes, already answered. Yes, 50 kilograms. No, sometimes. Flip, Crouching Walrus, others occasionally. Those Flip and Crouching Walrus, the only two guys I'll drop everything and watch their videos. Yes, I've often thought about it, and I've flown with TX141TX a couple of times in vids already. I like the BR system. I'd improve it by making it whole numbers rather than floating point and spreading planes out over a larger range. Already answered. Intel Core i5 4460 3.2 GHz 8 MB RAM, Windows 8.1, Sapphire Radeon R9 270X. I should have got a GeForce. No, I don't. People who are violent will always find excuses to act that way. No opinion. They probably all got good reasons for their movements, and I'm not part of any of them. And finally, Wobo Bobo asks the most deep and meaningful question of all: face, boobs, waist, butt, or legs. All of the above, plus personality. And with that, I must sign off. Thank you everyone for your questions. My apologies if I've missed your question. I've tried my best not to. If you'd like to support me in creating these videos, you can do so via my Patreon page, a link to which is in the description. And until my next video, I will see you in the skies. Cheers.